Hi, this is Joe again with another review. I'm going to take this video, we're going to be discussing or previewing the 2016 World Series, which is of course going to be, no matter who wins, it's going to be an historic World Series this year between the Chicago Cubs, who screwed up my last video, which was previewing the league championship series. They totally screwed me royally. Versus the Cleveland Indians, and no matter who wins, it's going, like I said earlier, no matter who wins, it's going to be an historic World Series, which I'm virtually going to get into. What I mean by the Cubs screwing me is because if you've seen my league championship series preview video, I predicted the Cubs once again are going to lose, and lose royally, because they have a habit of losing and losing badly in the and blowing leads in the playoffs. They did it in 1984. They did it most famously in 2003 with the Bartman game. They got swept just last year, 2015, in the Mets, by my team, the Mets. So of course they had a habit of screwing things up for everybody. They screwed up last year, the Cubs, because last year, in 2015, the Cubs were supposed to have won the World Series. If any of you believe in what you see in the stupid movies, there was a movie called Back to the Future 2, which came out way back in 1989, and of course the movie's supposed to be set 3 years to the future from 1985, which of course would make it 2015. And there was a scene where Michael J. Fox, called by William McFly, saw a billboard saying, "Congratulations, Cubs, 2015 World Champions," being Florida or Miami to be in the World Series. Of course, naturally, 4 years later, we're going to get that wrong, because there was a team that came into Major League team, was awarded to the state of Florida, but it was a National League team. So, of course, you know that they're not going to play the Florida team in the World Series. That's just Tampa Bay. So already they got that messed up. And of course, everybody believed that the Cubs were going to win the World Series in 2015 because of that one little scene in Back to the Future Part 2. Well, of course, thanks to my team, the Mets, ruined that for everybody, which I liked. So this year, I predicted that the Cubs would lose to the Dodgers because they never won in the playoffs before. True, there were a couple of times when they won the first round, which was a 3 out of 5 series, the divisional round, but it never won the league, the National League pennant. And in the few times they've been in the playoffs since the playoff format started back in 1969. So that's why I said, okay, they're gonna lose again. Well, by some stupid piece of luck, they actually ended up winning the National League pennant just this past Saturday night. And of course, there's one fact that came out during the pennant clinching game was on Saturday, October 22nd, 2016, which is of course the day of the game. That was the 46th anniversary of the guy who owned the Billy Goat Tavern, who put the curse in the Cubs. Saturday, October 22nd, is the anniversary of his death, because he died back in 1970. So of course, they had to throw in the curse of the Billy Goat. Now, the curse of the Billy Goat was, those who don't know, back in 1945, the last time the Cubs played in the World Series against Detroit, which they eventually lost, there was a local tavern in Chicago. I don't even know if the bar still even exists today, 2016, but there was a bar called the Billy Goat Tavern, and the owner of the bar had a goat mascot, obviously, tying into the name of the bar. And the coach's name was Murphy. So of course last year when Daniel Murphy hit the home runs against the Cubs in the playoffs, they said of course a guy named Murphy is going to kill the Cubs because that was the name of the goat. In the famous Billy Goat curse. So in Wrigley Field, when the owner of the Billy Gold Tavern wanted to bring the gold into Wrigley Field, because I think he brought in one a couple of times before, but he wanted to bring, and every time he did, the Cubs won the game. So he brought it in for the World Series. Figured, okay, give the Cubs a little good luck charm and bring the gold in for the World Series. But because it was the World Series, it was bigger publicity and stuff like that. The Cubs management did not allow him to come into Wrigley Field with the gold. So the owner says, okay, the Cubs will never ever win again or get to the World Series until they let my gold into the ballpark. And of course, for 71 years, that curse held up, and the Cubs never got to the World Series until this year. I know I'm mostly been focused on the Cubs, but of course the Indians, I don't know what type of curse they have in the Indians. Because for some reason they just haven't won. And of course, if you excuse me for a minute, if you see the movie, of course, Major League, they brought this up. They just never won. I mean, they just went into a tailspin. And because most of the time, of course, especially during the 50s, of course, Cleveland and like a lot of other American League teams throughout the from like the 20s to like the 60s, never won much. Never won the American League pennant because they had to face the Yankees. And the Yankees kept winning and winning and winning and winning until the mid 60s when the franchise fell apart. And then other teams throughout the 1960s had to reign the American League pennant, but not the Indians. And of course, throughout these from 1954 really to about 1995, the Cleveland Indians never made didn't even make the playoffs, much less make the World Series. And they made the World Series twice in the 90s. Once in 1995 when they played the Braves, and unfortunately, which is the politically incorrect World Series, because the names of the two teams, the Braves and the Indians, and the Indians with the infamous logo with the red-faced Indian with the big grin and a big smile on his face, and the feather, versus the Atlanta Braves with the stupid tomahawk chop, and that's where the fans going, you're the stupid tomahawk chop, this crap. And of course, the real American Indians were protesting it because they should force to change the names of the two teams because of that. But unfortunately, the Indians lost the World Series to the Braves in 6 games. And if the Dave Justice then closed his eyes and swung the bat in the 6th game, I'm saying it right now, the Braves would have lost that world. If the Braves had lost Game 6, they would have lost the World Series in Game 7, and we eventually came in first 14 out of 15 years and never won the World Series. But anyway, thank you. And of course, 2 years later, the Indians got into the World Series again, facing the Florida Marlins in their first World Series. And of course, the Indians lost in 7 games. And the Indians have not been in the World Series since then. In 19 years, they've never played in the World Series again. So they finally made it again. I do hope, I do believe that Cleveland will beat the Cubs out. I'm saying it, I'm going out on them again and saying, particularly the Cubs are going to lose again. Because for the most part, for one thing, that Cleveland, because of the stupid rule in the All-Star game, where whichever league wins the All-Star game gets home field in the World Series. So in the 2016 All-Star game, the American League team won. So the Cleveland will have home field advantage in the World Series, and so they're going to have 4 games in Cleveland, and only 3 games in Wrigley Field. And of course, tomorrow is when the World Series is going to start. I'm doing this on Monday, October 24th. Tuesday, October 25th. That's when the World Series is going to start, and it's going to be the first game. It's going to be in these baseballs, postseason, that's actually going to be airing on regular television, not on cable. And the thing that I'm going to go on a little rant here, I am totally pissed off that nobody in the newspapers, or on the internet, or on the radio, ESPN, the MLB network, wherever, nobody, and I'm the first one to say it, nobody has ever complained that no one playoff game is on regular television till the first game of the World Series, which I feel that's a goddamn disgrace that not one Major League playoff game is on regular television. If that was the case with football, if they decided to put all the football playoff games on cable TV and only airing the Super Bowl, you're going to have a fit with people who can't afford cable TV. Because not everybody can afford cable television. And especially, I don't want to knock Chicago or Cleveland, but not exactly the most expensive cities in the world either. There's plenty of poor people, particularly in Chicago, who cannot afford cable television, and to put all the games, and particularly the Cubs games, on cable TV and not on regular television, so the whole city of Chicago could watch these games, is a disgrace. To me, as a baseball fan, I felt the same way last year, because if my father didn't spend the money and got cable, I would not have seen any Mets playoff games last year, or the division, or even the division clincher last year, because all those games were on cable. And to me, it's a disgrace. There should be more games on regular television than they are on cable. True, they get more money out of cable. The Major League Baseball and the Major League Baseball team owners will get more money out of cable. That's why 95% of the games are on cable TV and not on regular television, which is a disgrace. It's a disgrace. Because it used to be all playoff games and all World Series games were on regular TV, not on cable. If they have the Cubs going on this March to the World Series, which is a huge deal, huge story, because you're talking about a team that hasn't been in the World Series since 1940, for 71 years, haven't been in the World Series. Not to put that game on regular television is a disgrace, because Fox Sports rather put a stupid fucking football game on regular television instead of the Cubs game. It's more important to see a much bigger story, and it's more important for Game 6 of a playoff series to be on regular television instead of a college football game. And I feel that way with the World Series. It's more important that this series is going to be huge for Fox, and it's because the two teams have gone the longest without. The two teams have gone the longest without winning the World Series. And Cleveland hasn't won, and everybody's talking about focusing on the Cubs because they haven't won since 1908. But the Indians haven't won a World Series since 1948. So there's only they've gone like 68 years without winning a World Series. So you have those two teams, and it's a huge deal. And of course, Cleveland is coming off celebrating a championship for the Cleveland Cavaliers. So you have that story. Could they win the basketball and baseball championships in the same calendar year? It's possible. And of course, also the big story with the Cubs, Lobo losers and all that stuff, have a possibility of them getting it. And the reason why I'm not that crazy with the Cubs are going for them is because the owner, Tom Ricketts, who owns the Cubs, last year bashed the Mets, bashed the Met fans, saying that we don't have any class. The Met fans have no class. Only the drunks have no class. The drunken fans. The fans who go to the ballpark, they get drunk out of their minds. They're the ones that don't have any class. But me, I don't go to ball games and get drunk, or get drunk before the game and drink even more at Citi Field. Those fans don't have class. They're talking about the drunks who go to sporting events and ruin it for everybody. Those are the ones who don't have any class. So that's why you can't really root for the Cubs. Because especially last year when the Mets beat the Cubs 4 straight, the Cubs always really bash the Mets and bash the Met fans. So I can't really. That's why I can't really root for the Cubs, even though they're more the underdog story than the Indians are. But I feel that. Excuse me. I feel that it's an utter complete joke if the Cubs actually do win the World Series. Because I want them to suffer. Like, I used to, as a Mets fan, my whole life to wait for the Mets to finally get a no-hitter, and they finally get one. But unfortunately, a lot of Met haters out there, even fellow Met fans, complaining on the fact that it wasn't a real no-hitter, because in the sixth inning, Carlos Beltran, that piece of shit, hit a ball. He hit a line drive that actually hit the foul line, just past third base, before third base. It's considered a fair ball, but the umpire didn't call it. So because the umpire didn't call it, it was going to go down the record books as a no hit. But anybody saw that the umpire messed it up. To me, he said, "Hey, he got it right." I joke with everybody, "Hey, he got the call right." Because it was actually in the Mets' favor instead of going against the Mets. You know how many times the Mets blew no hitters because the call's going the other way. So I'm glad the Mets got a call in their favor. They got a no hit. Finally broke the curse of Northern Line. I know I'm on a tangent there, but to see the Cubs, I want the Cubs to suffer longer. Now I want to go another 108 years without winning. But I think the big thing is to see rain games actually get snowed out, because you're in Cleveland. Like I said, last time they went to Cleveland, they actually had snow flurries. Last time the Cubs, Cleveland played in the World Series, they actually had snow flurries. During the the 3 Miller games was played in Cleveland that year. See, they actually had snow flurries. I think they got any snow flurries this year in the two cities. That'd be interesting to watch. So my prediction is Cleveland in 6 games. I'm going for 6. But the fun is to see if this World Series, because of the dream matchup between Cleveland and the Cubs, the two teams, like I said a couple times today, the two teams have gone the longest without winning a World Series. Let's see how well, ratings-wise, the World Series would draw people. So let me review of the I was about to say 1986 World Series, the 2016 World Series. Please click on the video, please read it. Feel free to comment on it. Please subscribe to my channel, and please forward this video onto your Facebook pages. You can check out all of my videos not only on my YouTube channel at rowdyc.com, it's all on WDY.com. On the homepage of the Rowdy Reviewer, Chris Lee Moore. Please check out all of his content, all of his TV trash videos, and plus all of his other content on his website. Thanks for watching, and catch you next time.